Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck, and tonight we've got an absolutely outstanding opportunity for a conversation about the impact of positive representation coming off of the Young People and Howard Awards. We've got our special guest, Shameka Reed of the Young People and Howard Awards and Savvy R. Make sure you share this live with somebody. Got a great conversation coming up tonight. Nightcap Knowledge. Here's the bed. It's a nightcap. What time of day is this? You know what? I would love to have a live band play the Nightcap Knowledge intro song. Like what if we did a live version of Nightcap Knowledge and the intro was done by a band?
Hey, we can do a live one, small audience, do the intro, or
Okay. Or
you can do yours from a behind the trap set, and I do mine from behind the bar.
no. I ain't practiced.
You got it, man.
Man, I know I got it, but let the people look. Let the professionals be the professionals. We 187
Let the people be
episodes
the
in. I know how to podcast.
like you don't want you ain't gonna be the drum. I'm gonna play the air drums. The air drums is where we at. We have
We can
perfected
still
the
air
air
drum.
drums.
And after the show, I
The
might
air
get on.
drums.
But no, yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, in case y'all didn't know, this is welcome to Nightcap Knowledge. Hey, this is the show's rated black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. Gonna tell it like a TI is. And we might be doing a show with a band. Who knows? And Chuck gonna play the air
That's it.
drums.
Look,
Yeah.
I noticed something, Mac. So when we went on KC 1400 to talk about Mississippi Move being the organization of the year.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to them.
Yeah. Shout
for
out
having us on.
to KC 1400, the Jackson State University sports show that always has community in the conversation. The thing that I noticed, I hear echo now, but I didn't hear echo then. I don't know what the difference is. Is it because I'm in the producer seat? I wonder, did they hear it or not? I don't know.
Hmm.
Questions that need answers.
Hey, what came
Look,
first, chicken or the egg?
I don't know. I don't know. But look, go ahead. We got a great guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Our sister Shameka Reed, the brains behind Young Gifted and Empowered Awards and Save Your Life PR. She will be coming on in just a moment. Mr. Mack, we want to go ahead and get you plugged in with your mental health minute. And then I will allow you to introduce your sorority sister, constitutionally bound, and all of that jazz.
Hey,
No shade or anything like that.
no,
Just
no
stating the
oak
fact.
trees, no oak trees, sir, no oak
Oak
trees. Thank
trees, and unless we're going to sit under them and enjoy some lemonade with a little bit of Jack Daniels. Shout out to Larry Lincoln Leggett Obama.
you.
Did I
There
get
it
it right,
is.
man?
Yeah, you did it, man. You did it. You did. The boy got his own money. Hey, so when we talk about this sister right here, for the mental health minute, has definitely put it into action. Faith without work is dead. She has the faith in her deity, and she put the work in it, and the two meet, and then you have these things happen, like a great show, like the Young, Gifted, and Empowered, and just highlighting people that are out there doing things in the community. So when we say that, it means that hey, you always continue to ask your creator for guidance, for support, to empower you to be able to get across the obstacles. But then is what does the work look like to make that vision, make that prayer, to become a reality? You got to put that work in with it, and you got to stay positive. It's so easy to become negative. Um, Negative got a lot of friends. As soon as you do anything, someone's always going to be there. You got to find that positive. You got to find someone that's going to be there to help guide you, and look for roadmaps. There's very few things that are new under the sun, as they say. So look for a way to be able to bring in what you are asking for in prayer. So we say faith without work is dead. So we got to continue to have that in and make the two meet, and we make it do what it do.
I heard
What's the
that, bro.
groove, Chuck?
Look, man, I appreciate that mental health minute, and it's definitely something to put some action behind the ask that you make of the creator. So, in the whole, we used to say you need to have ass, average, and attitude. That's what we used to say. Yeah, that's what the groove. There's a lot of people out there that ain't willing to put their ass on the line, literally, for the things that they are sitting back, writing about, thinking about, and all of that. So I would say, man, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, you know, to take that leap of faith, um, if you're not willing to pump yourself up, like to have that positive self-talk, like you to be a business owner, you got to have a little attitude, like you got to have a little, kind of little oomph about yourself, some confidence. You have to, um I like the 3 A's, man. I think we need to bring the 3 A's back. I think players need to come back. Ain't nobody gonna give me no A, man. Where my buttons at? Where my buttons? Matt, you gonna give me an A, man?
Yes, sir, brother. I'm gonna give you an amen and two hallelujahs,
Yeah.
and maybe three times on Sunday. Yeah, and it goes back to what you're saying is willing to invest yourself into something that you want to see, to come to a reality, something that you want, and making it work. Um, and
Yeah.
then, as we're saying, in a microwave society where it's like the instant gratification of like, oh,
Yeah. And look, I kind of left out
yeah,
the average. It's like, if you're not willing to try, all right, baseball analogy. Yeah, I'm a baseball dad. The Hall of Fame baseball greats, if they hit the ball 4 out of 10 times on the average of their career, they're a Hall of Famer. That means they failed 6 out of 10 times. They failed more than they succeeded at hitting the ball. That's an average. So if you're not willing to put yourself in a situation where you're gonna have an average, I mean, you don't need to be doing it. You just need to listen to somebody else and take orders. Don't have no comment.
Yeah, yeah. It's and then it's so many different things that connected that. And when you're talking about creating something, because you're gonna deal with, for and you can look at it a different way. Going above average, presenting something that's above average, not being the norm, not being mediocre, coming up with something different. Um, and then also it is coming up what you said, that the attitude. The attitude is just, it's a sometimes is what is the confidence level look like. Being we have another one talk about the challenge of change and the confidence. You know, having confidence in yourself, and that the creator gave you the talents to be able to do the things that you say you can do.
Yeah,
That's the thing. you know, and is and put it in a layman's term, whatever shit you talk, be able to back it up twice as much.
man. Write the check and had to ask the cashier too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And a lot of times, what is never giving up. You might not have been the best, but never give up.
And look, shout out to Marcus Banks coming in the comments. Our barbecue resident barbecue buddy, brother.
And so big shout out to Marcus. We're talking about stepping out there, right? To my, literally putting your ass on the line. So Marcus has done a lot of events.
Yeah.
And it was an ask of Marcus to say, "Hey, do you want to participate in the Best Dressed Jackson event? This is the event to raise money for cancer, but it's not your average event. You're gonna have to. This is when everybody is dressed in this. It was down at the old railroad district, really nice affair, and
Hmm.
it was a challenge to for him. It was because you're trying to multitask with multiple businesses and things, and you had to have these things. So this is your introduction to a group of people that you do not know, right? This is outside of your circle. He did it, right? You
Yeah.
put your ass on the line, right? You kept trying, you kept trying, you kept trying. You got it. You try to knock on some doors and didn't get an answer. So your phone has been ringing since he did this event. Literally the next day, while he was set up at our event, phone was ringing. Someone booking him for an event because they tasted food at the event that night.
I want some brisket
So
right now.
you a- actually, that's one of the things we talked about because one of the events coming up is Cinco de Mayo, and
Yeah.
he actually thought about doing
Brisket
brisket
taco.
tacos. Yeah.
She. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody else out there in WW land, as Chuck say, um, would like if Marcus made brisket tacos? Drop something in the comments. Let's see if there's something y'all interested in brisket tacos.
I want some brisket tacos. And speaking of being able
Oh,
to
what my
put
drink is? What you
together,
drinking, Chuck?
I didn't have time to go get a drink, so I don't even. My water is empty. Like,
Damn.
you see, nah, that's about empty though. So look, this is what we're gonna do, Mac. You want to bring Shameka up and we get this conversation going, and maybe I don't know if this young lady if she's ready for nightcap knowledge. I know she's ready for the drop the knowledge, but I don't know if she got the
Yeah,
nightcap.
yeah.
Yeah,
She might have water.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
we're gonna bring in our sister. This sister is known for wearing many hats around the city. Definitely a true Jacksonian, involving people in the community. Um, she definitely know a lot about service as she represents those letters Z5B. She is definitely been someone that has a strong faith, and you see her faith in her work. So we'd like to bring this sister out, the brains behind the young, gifted, and empowered. Come on, Sister Shamika.
There she go.
Hey y'all.
What's
There you
happening?
go.
How y'all doing?
Doing great.
It's good.
Let me,
That's
oh,
good.
I think she got water. Do you have water over there?
You know what? I have no nightcaps. Now, I I'm sorry. I missed the whole, I have
The
no
whole
nightcaps.
with it being nightcap knowledge, you missed all of
hmm
that. Yeah,
You
But if
missed the
y'all bring me
nightcap
back on,
part.
I have a nightcap the next time.
that's
All
a
right.
bet.
Chuck,
Yeah.
Chuck a bump of you. He gonna go get something.
Okay.
He gonna go get something where you uh, introduce yourself. It's your first time on Nightcap Knowledge, right? And like I
Yeah.
said, we are very non-politically correct here, so don't worry about choosing your words carefully. If,
Okay.
if
Who you
the
talking to?
Lord let it come up, let it come out. Let it come out.
No, no. See, my background is PR and marketing. I know better.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
know a whole lot. I know better. I know better. So
It still be you. It still be you, right?
yeah.
So you don't have to choose as hard. So
Okay.
tell the folks, introduce yourself, tell the folks, where you come from, who you
Okay.
are,
Okay.
what got you up to this point, like, school, things you've done, just kind of give the
Okay.
folks a little background.
I was born in Kentwood, Louisiana, but was raised in Macomb, Mississippi. Attended South Pike High School and graduated from there and attended the best university in the world, the Jackson State University, for undergrad and majored in mass communications, specializing in public relations with a minor in graphic design. Got to Jackson State and it was an amazing experience. Got exposed to writing for the campus newspaper. Started off as a sports writer. By senior year, was editor in chief, um, and so I have an extensive background from that time in in journalism. Interned in Kansas, wrote for some of the weekly newspapers here in Jackson, the Mississippi Link, the Jackson Advocate. And so journalism has always been a very important part of my professional life. Worked at Jackson State for a number of years, off and on, in in the communications department at Jackson State, university communications. Let me say it that way. And then my most recent stint was in the International Programs Office, or JSU Global. Um, and during that time, I've always had my own PR and marketing company, and so I always had clients that I did PR and marketing for. But during that time, when I was in university communications at Jackson State, I started this Young Gifted and Empowered Awards, and it really came out of a place of remembering where I was the night that we heard the verdict in the Trayvon Martin trial. Remembering how I felt that night, just kind of feeling hopeless, and having paid attention to the trial, just feeling frustrated with how the media was portraying him and his family and his friends, and then just being frustrated with how Black people are portrayed in the media. Period. Decided that either you can be upset or you can do something about it. And so decided to create the Young Gifted and Empowered Awards. Of course, it's a play off of Nina Simone's Young Gifted and Black. And
Mhm.
and so decided to create this. And this year we celebrated year 9. And I wanted to focus on storytelling. Like I said, my background is journalism. So that's a big part of journalism, telling the story, being as accurate as possible. And so I wanted to put that into play. And but I wanted to do this. And so came up with the Young Gifted and Empowered Awards. We started having it. We initially was having it in person, and then we would do a 1 hour broadcast. And our last year having it in person was 2020. Right before we barely missed COVID, like literally. We had the award show like that last Saturday in February. Then we did a youth summit over at Tougaloo College with the early college program over there. We did a youth summit that Friday when they was leaving for spring break, and they left for spring break and never came back. Everything is just, And now that I look back at things, I had some friends that were in town and they weren't feeling good. They were sick. They had colds.
Mm.
And, I do remember even before that knowing about COVID because I worked at Jackson State in international programs. We had students that wanted to go and study abroad in China. But I was keeping up what was, and I'm not saying this came from China. I'm not saying it, but that was, those were some of the first cases that we heard
Right.
about.
Yeah.
So I remember posting on Facebook saying, hey, if any of my Facebook friends got friends in China, check on your people. It's a virus spreading over there, and it's
Yeah.
and so nobody knew it was going to be what it was. Um,
And what year was that for?
this was 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, this was in like January, February of 2020. I posted, hey, if you guys have friends, any of my Facebook friends have friends, family members in China, check on them. There's this virus that has,
Yeah.
that's, there's some media coverage on, because like I said, I worked at JSU and I worked in international programs, and we had some students that wanted to go to China to study abroad. So we had to kind of keep an eye on,
It was
like
students
world
that
activities and
wanted to go.
things that were going on. So it, I was kind of aware of it. And like I said, we, did YG&E that year, and we have not been back in person since then. We've done broadcasts we've always done a broadcast. We've always done like an hour broadcast.
Yeah.
But after the pandemic, we moved it to a 2-hour broadcast, and then we began to build it out. We began to, record the performances. So the format that you guys saw Sunday, we started building that format out after 2020, because I mean, 2020 and 2021 was the year to pivot. Either you still gonna do what you and
Yeah.
say you gonna do and be consistent, or you gonna let a global pandemic stop you. And and listen, I'm not saying that it didn't, it shouldn't have stopped things, because it was very, it should have, it shut a lot of things down, but I was determined to continue with the storytelling.
Yeah. Now that
Mhm.
that I like what you did. I like the pivot. I like that the focus is truly on storytelling.
Mhm.
And there's a lot, and I mentioned this to you when we were recording. I said there's a lot of synergy between all of the things that a lot of us are doing. Is that we've been operating maybe because of COVID, uh,
Mhm.
or you really want to get it right, like the way that you picture it in your head. You want to get it right, and then like, let's bring in some moments for
Mhm.
collaboration. But I'm saying that the pivot that we've had to make as it relates to Mississippi Black Pages, and being able to celebrate entrepreneurs for building a business in Mississippi. Like, a lot of the people that you've been able to highlight, these folks done built businesses in the world,
Mhm.
and they are
Mhm.
from Mississippi. So
Absolutely.
it's there is a story in this training ground, or for those of us that, and I'm gonna say this, I have a true affinity for the hospitality state, the Magnolia State, because I don't know what my life would be like if I didn't, go to Tougaloo. And I I've seen other people make it, right? It's easy to make it in Atlanta, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff that, like,
Mhm.
everybody's looking for a lot of things to come out of Atlanta. Houston, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of resources, it's a lot more people there. It is something to be said to build businesses and brands that are recognized around the world from the Magnolia State. And again, we said it last week. We're gonna say it again. We're gonna continue to say it. Shameka, we got your back, and we like what you're doing with the Young Gifted and Empowered Awards. And the folks that you put on it, like Tanya, I saw her in the comments, or at least a like or something. She might be on the stage right now. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is that the folks that you're highlighting, the stories, like Hadiaki, like, I didn't know all of that about that brother. And even the superintendent from Warren County, like, just listening to these stories. And I really think that we might want to chop them up and then release them joints as some segments, uh
Mhm.
and just keep that conversation going throughout the year. And we want to have them, and maybe you come on with them, but we would love to have them here on Nightcap Knowledge, or some other thing, that they might not be night owls like us. uh, but if we do something in the middle of the day, we definitely want to continue to grow this conversation around being a successful entrepreneur, and having that positive foundation, that solid foundation and background coming from Mississippi.
Absolutely. I love the idea of continuing that conversation. So we can absolutely make that happen. And, it's not just entrepreneurship, it's, like community organizations like you guys with
Yeah.
Mississippi Move, it's, innovation, like with Dr. Ebony Butler. We've always recognized innovators, but this year was a little different because when you think of innovators, sometimes you think of technology, and
Hmm.
so but what she's been able to do in the mental health industry, with the my therapy cards,
Yeah.
and Black people love a good card game. And so she's been able to, that's innovation, that's ingenuity, and we need to celebrate that. And so I would listen, I would love to have them, get them on your show and talking about the work that they're doing. But you said something and you were absolutely right. I thought back Sunday, about the conversation we were having when we were filming, and we were talking about collaborating more.
Hmm.
And I remember, during the interview, Mac made this comment that Mr. Watkins made. And he said, nobody, when we collaborate, nobody knows who the head is. So they don't know who to attack.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we're in a war right now, but in a way we are. So we need to, we all need to be doing,
Yes.
Black with No Chase is about storytelling and about our culture and about our community. So I celebrate all of that,
Right.
and so we do need to find that synergy that works together. I was telling a friend, I was like, wow, Sunday, because we had some technical difficulties, and Chuck and Sabir came through for me, like, came in like Superman, and or Robin and Tito, I don't know, Robin and Batman or something. No, Tito was with the
With the
Western.
Jacksons.
No, he was on the Western.
No, that's Tonto.
Tonto. Okay.
He a Jackson.
Okay, so who was Tonto with?
The Lone Ranger.
Okay, the Lone Ranger and
You
Tonto.
you stop using references. Just go ahead. We got it. Just stop. Pause.
Anywho, they came in and they fixed it. We were having some technical difficulties, and I called Sabir. He's like, "Oh, we got you. We're gonna stream it on Mississippi Move. We're gonna stream it on Black with No Chaser, and you add me to your Facebook page. We're gonna stream it on the Young Gifted, and Empowered Facebook page, and it
And you're
just,
actually streaming there right now too.
I saw that. I shared it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I shared it. So that was where the collaboration came in. And you guys were like, we told you, we got you. And I was telling a friend, I said, this is what we should have been doing all along, collaborating, and, collaborating with other media outlets, and sharing these stories. And Chuck, to what you were saying, my homeboy, he was like, don't beat yourself up too much. He said, sometimes you really have to get things organized before you can, bring other people in to help carry that vision. He was
Yeah.
like, the important thing is that you recognized how much better y'all are together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Shout
Yeah.
out to homeboy, because I mean,
Yeah.
you said he said a mouthful, and I appreciate you. Whoever that person is, you giving them credit for that,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that, like, having those people to remind you that, hey, you've accomplished something. One, God gave you an assignment. You got the assignment done. Now we've got some improvements to make, but then you done picked up some people along the way for the 2.0 version, 3.9.0 version of what we're working on. And I'm looking forward. And I ain't hating on the produced show, but we need an after party or something.
So here's the thing. I'm already in year 10. So next year makes year 10.
Hold on. Get the horn ready. I'm ready. Go ahead. Go for it.
Oh, you want me to say it after the horn or before the horn?
Before the horn.
Okay, so I'm already ready for year 10. Year 10, we're going back in person. It's going to be in Black History Month. We're already getting ready for it. I'm hoping Black with No Chaser going to stream it live for us. They're going to work the red carpet. They're going to do all of those things. And we're going to make year 10 a huge celebration. There
it is. So we're gonna be in Black History Month.
Yep.
We're gonna be live. We're gonna have a red carpet.
We're gonna do all of that. We're gonna bring it all back, because I got some comments on some of my Facebook pages like, hey, because our very first year we had it at the convention complex, and then we moved it to Jackson Prep, and because they have a beautiful performing arts facility. But we're gonna bring it back to Jackson for the 10th year. I'm still working on some things on where it's gonna be, but we're gonna bring it back to Jackson for the 10th year. And yeah, people were asking, well, why don't you do it in person anymore? I wanted to after the pandemic, but we were able to reach so many more people. Last year I think we had about 40 or 50,000 people just to tune into the broadcast on WLOO. That may not be a lot to everyone else, but for us, and when we have
40,000?
yeah, yeah. And that's just on the station that we could track. That's those
Right.
on the numbers. But we were on two other stations in the Delta. And then we were streaming on our own platform on our Roku station
Yeah.
and our app. And so but people want to know, like, when you bringing it back in person, because we would have people coming from Meridian and all over the state
Yeah.
coming, to be a part of it. So
Look, man. So now that we know that we got this ongoing collaboration,
mhm.
I have to ask you, like, this free consulting too, in case you didn't know.
Okay.
Mac has had the idea of this collective like landing page. And I had to kind of reel him in a couple times. So I'm like, Mac, you building Hemp World, we building Mississippi Black Pages. You got the Epps Institute. We building Black With No Chaser. We got Mississippi Move. We still got Yard Boy. We need to work diligently on these things before we go and create another thing. Not to say it ain't a good idea, but I feel as if a lot of the things that and ideas, they aren't to be pushed to the back burner. It's like, all right, they still on the prep board.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, Mac, and I hope you're following me on this. I'm thinking that there needs to be a conversation, like a convening of the good players, people that like to get in the sandbox with each other, like
Mhm.
nice and hardworking people, and people that do what they say they're gonna do, type of people. And we might be able to create the thing that Mac was developing. And I think having this I guess it's a sandbox in a sense. This sandbox where everybody, like, if they're looking for something that might be happening in the state of Mississippi, or it could be something that grows past, our boundaries. I think that you're a key player in that, in making something like that happen. The question that I have for you. Oh, come now, go ahead.
Go with your question, because I got my thoughts there. So go ahead with your question.
Okay. The question that I have, you talked about the storytelling aspect of the Young Gifted and the Power Awards. How did you get, Cricket, Patty Peck? How you get the Roku channel? Like, that's a lot. That's a lot of things. And I know your background is in journalism and TV and all of that. And you worked as a producer, right? In like one of the news stations, right? No. Well, how you do all of that? And you ain't working on news station and all that. Like, come on now, give me the tea. I need to know.
I'm gonna give you one word: audacity.
Come on with it.
I just had the audacity to believe that I could. It's
Charles Holmes. That's a Charles. Hit the Charles Holmes right there. Charles Holmes. There you go.
yeah. So my major when I was in college was mass communications.
Mhm.
So you got to see a lot of different things. Um, and just kind of, if you sit still long enough, God will give you like the vision,
Yeah.
and He'll show you the end and show you how to work your way back. And that's how I began. I always begin with the end in mind. And so, Brushy from Magnolia. Yep.
That boy,
So,
he is crazy, man.
yeah, just I don't know. I just sat down and kind of wrote it out what it looks
Yeah.
like, and then so being in PR and marketing, you work with graphic designers, you work with videographers, you're writing scripts to
Mhm.
you know, to either to commercials or scripts for documentaries or anything.
Yeah.
So you always, you know, that writing aspect, it's not just for journalism, like print journalism. That transfers over. That's a transferable skill into other genres of media.
Mhm.
So that I sponsorship, it was after that first year. The first year I had a few sponsors, Stephen James, and that's why I want to get to. I want, you know, I know y'all know Steve.
Yeah.
Y'all need to have a conversation too. Y'all need to bring Steve into this idea that Mac has.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave that at that. I
Know
ain't gonna,
Steve. Yeah.
yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing else but contact Stephen James. Stephen James has been a sponsor of the YG&E Awards since year 9. I mean, since year 1. So
Yeah.
he's been a sponsor all 9 years. I went to him. I told him about the idea. He bought into it. I told a couple other people. They bought into it. That first year, I did have to come out of pocket some, but after that, I have not had to come out of pocket. Then I started putting together a committee. After that first year of selecting and putting all this stuff together on my own, I started putting together a committee. I have a music director who handles all of the performances and stuff.
Mhm.
I have so now you guys are on the committee because I use past honorees to select the future honorees of look at Meg looking around like who. um it's not a hard lift, it's not a heavy lift, I promise. um but you know, I use past honorees to help and community people to help select the next group of honorees.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, just pulling in from the resources that I have. And in that committee, I also brought in people from the community that understood fundraising. And they, you know, was like, okay, you need to reach out to Patty Peck-Honda. Here's your contact for Patty Peck-Honda. Oh, you need to reach out to Cricket. Here's a contact for Cricket. And so, you know, just a community effort.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful. And we've learned a lot more as a nonprofit organization. And you know, we were throwing parties to generate the budget for, you know, for Mississippi Move. And we've become better at proposal writing. We've become better at storytelling through grant proposals, which is a very difficult thing to do, in my opinion. And trying to tell a story within the parameters of what the RFP calls for. That now the for instance, if Warren Warren Central, right? Warren Central School
School
District.
district.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For instance, if Warren Central wanted to apply for something now, like they've got some real collateral to show the type of impact and leadership that their superintendent.
Now he's not the
He's not a
superintendent.
superintendent.
Mm-mm. No, he's over there, like early college and career service programs. So you know, he's
Right.
been. No, he's not the
No,
superintendent.
no, no. I feel you. I'm just being facetious. But you know, I guess I'm making a campaign for the next superintendent of Warren County school
I
district.
mean, the brother does the work.
Yeah,
You know,
he does
I
the
mean,
work.
the amount of money he's saving those students, $9 million, saving students in college tuition.
Right. And that's something that I don't think there's a lot of conversation about with you having students. And this is one of my ideas. A person asked me, they said, if you had a magic wand, and this was a funder meeting. Mac was doing another one at the same time. So this person, they asked, if you had a magic wand, what would you do? I said, I would create a pipeline between the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Piney Woods, and Tougaloo. Piney Woods has a massive amount of land. So does Tougaloo. Tougaloo has the early college. Piney Woods is a boarding school.
Hmm.
So you talk about being able to pipeline Pascagoula, Mars Point, let's say a little bit of Gulfport, Harrison Central, students that are most oftentimes steered away from HBCUs, except for Moss Point, because of who Moss Point is as their character as a city. Imagine you take the lessons that that they're learning or that they've learned in Warren County, and you apply those to institutions that are rich in land.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they're truly missing, like they've got early college, you got a boarding school for high school students that want that MS type of experience when you go and you stay on campus, right? But let's say you don't do that. Let's say you do 2 years somewhere in Mississippi. You get another 2 years. By the time you're graduating, you got your what? Your associates, and you only got 2 more years to go to a Tougaloo or a Jackson State or one of our HBCUs that is resource and land rich. I ain't saying we balling, but between those two, what does it look like to where you have this continuum where you then say, hey, if you stay here, we have some apartments or we have this community, because now Tougaloo, how many acres we got, Mac?
500.
500 acres, and we're only operating off of 50. What does it look like to do a master planned community at Tougaloo,
Well,
and additionally a master planned community close to Piney Woods where you've got professionals that are now in their careers or operating businesses that support these two institutions. So now you've developed the tax base.
So are
man,
you saying building communities?
Yes, it's a long term plan.
You
what
know,
that
that's what they're kind of doing at Mississippi College. When you look at Mississippi College, it's a pro. When you look at it, that whole little area, and maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but
No, you're
Mississippi
not.
College.
I'm tell you, well, certain schools they take old hotels
Mhm.
and they buy them and they turn them into more like the student apartments, right? And they continue to boost the economy by taking the money into investing. So one thing that I said, and I don't want us to get off task, but that's how we got in this conversation. What if we had a real committee from the city all the way up to the state, and meaning that the representative for Mississippi, and we had every banker at the table that has a bank inside of Jackson, and your job will be able to get with a business like a Mississippi Black Pages or anything like that, and not let these commercial properties die. And that means if you had to put two or three businesses, and this is similar to what the brother said from Cheney University, how they take a large property and they put other businesses in there. That way it adds value, but also you kind of create your own clientele. So just think about when we have our students and we have these functions like we're talking about now, it's how you can see the reality. Our people need models and our people need to see some wins. So when we
Mhm.
And
become
they need to not
self-sufficient,
have debt.
and you could see this, and there's opportunities. But just think about if our schools were on board, where the stuff that we are doing now from Mississippi Move to Young Gifted and Empowered is something that is put into the schools where you're starting to look at things differently. So just like we were talking about low hanging fruit, it's only one component missing for having a feeder pattern for Tougaloo, and that feeder pattern is a 7 and 8 grade based on the same principles as Adiyambo. Because you go from 7 and 8 grade, yeah, Adiyambo goes to six. So you go 7 and 8 grade, and then you go to early childhood, early,
Early
uh,
college.
early college at Tougaloo. That's a system that you create. You do the same thing for a Jackson State. You are able to teach the theater. You are able to teach the different arts. They have a great art program. Just think about, you know what I'm saying? Like what you talk about now, is highlighting this and highlighting this where our students that we see, and I'm just talking about you, and just because we talk about the brother that's working with Warren, if you give them the opportunity for resources, children that never thought they were going to graduate from high school now have an opportunity where they can see where they can either start a business by going through this associate program when there's funding waiting on them to start their business as soon as they get their associate's degree or
Yeah.
4 year degree, because
Mhm.
you use the same principles of organizing, highlighting, and bringing this money to. So when you graduate, you have a plan, and then you have an opportunity for a grant, and we're working with you on financial literacy, even more money is offered if you stay in the city or the state where you are. That's the thing that Mississippi has to work on, is not losing our talented 10, where we offer more resources, more money, and more opportunity to keep them in the state so the state continue to grow. And then we come in, we'll be really saving ourselves. But
And
what you're
all of that
doing now,
storytelling.
Mm.
all that is
Thank you.
storytelling. Why do we need to do this? Let me show you an example of
Hmm.
what a small version of this look like. And if we add more to it and keep the same concept, this is what it could turn into.
You
And
know,
keep the right people in the sandbox.
you know, and what Jackson Public Schools is kind of doing something similar to that with these buildings that they're selling. So they're selling them to developers, and developers. I know there's a model in Arkansas where one of the public school districts up there did the same kind of thing where they sold their buildings to developers, and the developers came in and created this mixed use building out of the school. So you had apartments, and then you had commercial, real estate, and so some people are thinking along those lines. It's not completely what you and Chuck are saying, but some people are getting there. You know, it's slow, but they're getting there a little bit.
No, I think it's these types of conversations that are inspired by stories like what you've been able to tell with the Young Gifted and Empowered Awards. Like you're able to start connecting the dots when you see successful things happen.
Mhm.
And when the Mississippi Gulf Coast, they have in early college, they have a lot of programs that are supported by industry. So the casinos are putting money in. The big hospitals down here, they're putting money in. Even an example I've seen just now today, where Ochsner has partnered with Xavier University of Louisiana to create
A
another
medical
a
school.
med school. So that
Hmm.
not Xavier has farm and now they have med. Uh, the those types of partnerships, um, and having people that can facilitate and develop those types of partnerships for investment uh, in our schools that have been historically underfunded, it provides so much more opportunity than we can describe in one show. But just think about the number of stories. If you had a chief storytelling officer at every HBCU in the country,
Mm.
and their job was to find the story. I ain't talking about no vice president of institutional advancement. I ain't no, because those people don't get storytelling. They just trying to go out and get people to cut checks. Some of them may understand storytelling, and I think they're forward thinking in their jobs and the way that they go about um making sure that our HBCUs and our colleges and universities are properly resourced. But to incorporate that, there is a creative economy, there is a shift in the way that business is going to happen.
Hmm.
A lot of us are behind the eight ball as it relates to what we're doing with social and the stories that we send out via email to our network and our audience, and we're not developing nor maintaining our constituency. And this is me getting on my HBCU high horse, or my soapbox, I guess I should say. um there is no way that you don't have a consultant like Shameka Reed telling you what to do with your storytelling, and she's been able to build an award show out of her pocket. We just got it. We just copy the right cat. Copy the right cat. So we talk about storytelling. Every show on the internet and on the daggone TV says that venture capitalists don't invest in businesses, they invest in people. Why in the world are we not telling the stories of how HBCUs have been able to take little people from Macomb, Mississippi, Pike County, Magnolia, Holmes County, Lexington, Mobile, Alabama, Shaw, Mississippi. Where every small town in the world, there are so many stories, and all it takes is a person to ask the questions. One, two, be able to be present enough in the situation to dig a little bit deeper, and then we archive all of these stories and we say, look at the institution that gave space for a Hollis Watkins to be developed. Look at the institution that gave space for a Shameka Reed to be developed, or a Sabir. And even though he went to USM, no slight. He cool. That's our partner. I had to throw a little shade. It's pine tree shade, it ain't oak tree shade, but still, y'all get what I'm saying. There needs to be a shift in the organizational dynamic of the way that HBCUs are not only governed in terms of board and the administration, but inside of the day-to-day operation, it needs to be centered around storytelling, and HBCUs need to take a page out of AD Ashley Robinson's book of entrepreneurship and running your institution as though it were a business and not just a place where people come to get degrees. I will take myself out of the conversation because I've been talking, but I'm sick of y'all running places like it's a damn I don't know what y'all been running them like, because I know bars that run better than some of these places that we call our alma mater. And I'm gonna shut up. I'm back.
Did he just drop the mic?
I'm back.
Did he just drop the mic and walk off?
He dropped the mic and the camera and just walked his ass off. He did both. He did both.
Both.
But
okay.
so you talked to what it was like getting it started, the categories.
Mm-hmm.
Share what was your first group like, and like how you chose them, and then what other services do you offer with your business?
Okay. So that first group, I chose them. I did. I selected them myself, and
Handpicked.
Yep. Yep. I it was I knew some of these people. I had heard about some of them, and thought their stories were interesting, and wanted to share that with everyone. And so, but like I said, after that first year, I was like, no, I'm going to get me a committee together to help me pick pick people. So there
What
was
was the first year?
The first year was 9 years ago. So what was that? 2014, 2015.
Okay.
2015. Yeah. And so, yeah, but after that first year, no, we got a committee and went through a process. We kind of moved away from the application process now. There's some people like last year, there was a young guy that I honored, Court. I forget Court's last name, but I had watched him for at least 3 or 4 years. So my strategy is, I'm gonna say this, and people might not like it. I don't go for popular. I go for effective and longevity.
I ain't mad at that. I like
Listen, Mississippi Move name came up years ago. Paul Scott, because Paul would volunteer with us for the live show, and he was like, "Man, you need to consider our frat brother Mac and what they doing over there with Mississippi Move." I said, "Okay, I'll keep an eye out." And so we do. We watch people.
Yeah.
And not to say that people don't make mistakes. Have there been people that we've honored that yeah, but there's a level of grace that we give, that you got to give people. You got to give people room to, Lord, I hope people give me room to make mistakes and bounce back. But yeah, so we have a criteria for what we're looking for when we honor people. And So yeah, yeah. We just we're out there working.
I can appreciate the watcher. I can definitely appreciate the watcher. So
So I think back to a conversation Mr. Hollis Watkins, probably our third year he came, and we would always bring in a staple from the community when we had our live events to come and give words of wisdom at the event, and he was one of them.
mm,
And he came and he spoke to the audience. But one of the things I remember him saying years ago, I was in a setting with him, and he talked about how when he was coming up, you vetted everyone before they were allowed to run for political office. And he talked about, he's like, we would vet people and say, you know what, you're not quite ready yet. Let us develop you a little bit more. And it went to the conversation where we talked about how Mississippi had the most Black elected officials with the least amount of power. And he talked about, um, and of course it was a different time for him because we couldn't always get people that looked like us to get elected. So
mhm,
he said they had to be very strategic about when a person ran for political office, and the community had to vet those people and say, "Yep, you're ready. We know we can trust you in this position. We're
mhm.
gonna get behind you."
Yeah,
Somebody else, they may say, "You're not quite ready. Come here and let us help develop you and get you ready to run for a political office." And so I've always thought that was, um, I mean, it may not be the ideal way to do things now because everyone has this freedom, but I think from a community standpoint, from a Black community standpoint, putting people that are going to make the best decisions for our community out front. So, mm,
I've heard that, and that's what we were taught, and that's what I'll say for that, and what Brother Hollis was saying was just as important about training and organizing for us as youth. And he was always talking about how, you know, at 17, he was given responsibilities. That's why he stayed on us at that magic number. He got involved at 16. So he stayed on us about you might be in that leadership role. And I think that's another thing that we don't have with our youth. We don't have that structure of responsibility to know that you tomorrow, you might not make it to 21. You might be in charge at 18, and you need to be ready,
yeah.
and we
mhm,
need to be, and you need to take it seriously what we're saying these teachings, in preparation, because you brother was recognized at brother Lucas Watson. He's a Tougalooan, right? He's the youngest alderman, elected official. And he's there, right? And this
Mhm.
this brother is doing, major things. He's there. He's been groomed and he was ready. So what you're talking about is go back to the 4 steps. So community organize, investigate, negotiate, educate. Investigate, educate, negotiate, and demonstrate. So you got to investigate to find the person that you need, and you got to, educate them on why they need to do this. Go back and forth, negotiate, and then you demonstrate that power when it's time. Sometimes it's not your time, but when it's your time, when it's for you, it's going to be for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. We everybody don't need a participation trophy.
mhm.
You need the person that do the job the best. I don't want everybody got a certificate. You're like, well, I really didn't do well in med school. I had problems with surgery, but they let all us graduate. Choose me. No,
Mm.
no, no. And so, but what other service you offer? That's one other thing that we
So
want to talk.
with Young Gifted and Empowered, we are a full-fledged media company. We have our annual magazine that we're going to put out in over the summer. We have our Roku station that's semi back up and running. Me and the company that is my vendor, we're gonna have a come to Jesus meeting tomorrow because yeah, I've been trying to rest these last 2 days, but yeah, we're gonna have a come to
Come
Jesus meeting.
on in the room.
And then we have also the iOS app. So we are, we are a full-fledged media company. Yep, that's it. That's it. So
Yeah, man. The iOS app it's the business. So I must say, I was thoroughly impressed by the app. I was like, man, this is dope. Like, we need to be building some partnership between all of this, like putting out some long form content and uh,
hmm
yeah, all of that.
all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Have your own little division on there. Black with No Chaser. All of y'all shows, all of that right
yeah,
there.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. We finna make that happen. So and ooh, there are a lot of things that I cannot talk about
Okay.
because we got NDAs that we cannot until everything is inked. And there are some plays. There's a playbook, not plays. There's a playbook to be executed. Like everybody gonna have to get. We're gonna have to have some film. We're gonna study. We're gonna have to have the team meeting, position meeting, all of that. Like it's some plays to be executed. So I will say this, and I know we're drawing close to our time. We definitely want to thank the folks that left comments: Tamara Taylor, Sharice Gervais Harper, our brother Sabir Abdul Haq, and definitely Wendelin Stevens and our brother Marcus Banks. For those of you, all 146 of you that are out there and y'all just look at who in and rubbernecking, man, we appreciate y'all too. Maybe next week y'all leave a comment and let us know where you're tuning in from. But we appreciate the views, especially everybody over there on Twitter. That is our largest audience every week. Is Twitter or X? You gotta remember that it's X. Sorry. Yeah, Wakanda forever. That's what I say it is. That's exactly what it is. So Shameka, if you got any closing words for
Mhm.
us, any for the young lady, the young man, the person that is coming behind you, and you are that bridge builder. If you would like to offer a closing word before we get to where we always got to get to every week.
Where
So
y'all gotta get to?
we got to get to where the money reside. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
where the money.
Okay.
But yeah, if you got something, man, leave us with a closing word, motivation for that young person that's coming behind you.
All right. So I have two things. First, I want to say this to you guys. When you guys were talking earlier, I was thinking, man, they should take this on tour. Like there's so many podcasts that I listen to, um, and they have a tour. And I was thinking, y'all should take Nightcap Knowledge on tour.
She got
So,
notes, Mac. Did you see her look down at her notes? She
because
wrote
I didn't want to forget it. I'm over 40. I will forget.
look, hey, we look. Let's have us another meeting and we discuss how we make this happen. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yep.
we
Yep.
done with it.
And
Keep going.
okay, and so then my last thing, my only advice to anyone is to believe that you can. Be audacious. That's my word for 2024. To be boldly audacious. And if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, then you can't. If that's what you think. But I would just advise everyone to live an audacious life and to be audaciously you and to be audaciously bold. That's it.
Yeah, Mac, you got something to close us out with, brother?
In the words Brother Hobbs would say, keep on. That's what we got to do. Just keep on
Keep on
keeping
keeping
on, and we're going to keep recognizing the folks and the kindred spirits are going to connect. And the African proverb state, when the spider webs unite, we can hold the mightiest of beasts. So let's keep connecting these spider webs.
We're gonna keep connecting the spider webs, and ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna
Wait.
while we still got you there, we definitely need to make some announcements and thank all of the people that support us week to week. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. we want to recognize an event that's coming up in the city of Jackson, May Day celebration, sponsored by Cooperation Jackson, happening May 4th, Saturday, May 4th at the Balagoon Center right there on Capitol Street. We also got Boots and Blues that will be going down the 24th of May. Boots and Blues, Outlets of Mississippi. That's with our partners at the Field Corvette Club of Mississippi. And we've got the Black Men's Health Equity Conference, Black Men Matter, uplifting, educating, and healing Black men in Mississippi. Keynote speaker Yusuf Salam. That is June 29th, Saturday, June 29th. And the return of the Rancho Cinco, original Cinco in the city. It's a street festival, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. We'll see y'all next time. It's Nightcap Knowledge. Put some on your head before you go to bed. See y'all Tuesday, 9 p.m. Peace.